Babylon, the foundations of an intellectual empire. Mesopotamia, the land between two rivers. For millennia, this fertile valley was not just a cradle of civilization, but a sanctuary for human dignity, welcoming diverse faiths, sects, and cultures. From the dawn of history, the Tigris and the Euphrates have witnessed the rise of empires that shaped the very essence of humanity. But among the many stories etched into this ancient soil, there is one that is often whispered in the archives: the story of the Jewish community in Iraq. To understand the intellectual empire they built, we must go back to the source. Their presence in this land was never a mere coincidence of geography. It began long before the modern maps were drawn. As documented in the annals of history, the Jewish journey in Mesopotamia started with the migration of the prophet Abraham from the city of Ur, a city defined by its complex political landscape and the eternal struggle for influence. While many associate the Jewish presence in Iraq solely with the Babylonian exile under Nebuchadnezzar, the truth is far older. From the Assyrian era in the north to the Neo-Babylonian period in the south, this community became an inseparable thread in the Iraqi social fabric. They didn't just inhabit the land, they understood it. They learned that in a region of shifting powers, there is only one asset that no conqueror can take away: the wealth of the mind. In the 7th century BC, during the dominance of the Assyrian state, the first major waves of Jewish settlement began. But it was in 586 BC, during the Babylonian era, that a turning point occurred. Thousands were brought into the heart of Babylon. But unlike many exiled groups who vanished into history, this community transformed their displacement into a cultural anchor. By the time the dust of ancient empires settled, the Jewish community in Iraq had established deep roots. They became the keepers of an oral and written tradition that flourished in the markets of Baghdad and the scholarly circles of Hilla and Basra. They realized early on that literacy was not just a religious duty, but a socio-economic necessity. In the narrow alleys of old Baghdad, education began to evolve from purely spiritual chanting into a structured pursuit of knowledge. Imagine the atmosphere of those early days: the scent of old parchment, the rhythmic chanting of ancient scripts, and the realization that their survival depended on their ability to read, write, and calculate. This intellectual discipline would soon become the engine of an economic revolution. While the surrounding world was often defined by manual labor and feudal ties, this community was busy building a literacy-based elite. They were the architects of a silent revolution, one that used the pen rather than the sword to secure its place in the Mesopotamian sun. By the 19th century, the Jewish community had become a vital pillar of the Iraqi economy. Their influence was felt in every market and every trading post. But how did a minority group manage to hold such significant sway over the markets of sugar, tea, and textiles? The answer lies in the classroom. The education they received was uniquely tailored to the needs of a globalizing world. While many in the region were still navigating the challenges of traditional life, Baghdadi Jewish students were becoming polyglots. They moved seamlessly between Arabic, the language of their home, Hebrew, the language of their faith, and Turkish, the language of the Ottoman administration. Later, French and English would be added to this impressive linguistic arsenal. This wasn't just about learning words, it was about understanding global networks. A merchant in Baghdad could communicate with a cousin in Bombay or a business partner in Manchester, all because of the foundational schooling received in the local institutions. Literacy provided them with the tools for accounting, international correspondence, and complex trade agreements. They were, in essence, the first technocrats of the modern Middle East. Their schools were not just teaching religion, they were producing the financial and administrative masters of Mesopotamia. A major milestone in this educational journey occurred in the year 1832. This was the year that witnessed the birth of a formal institution that would change everything: the Midrash Talmud Torah in Baghdad. Founded under the visionary guidance of Rabbi Moshe Lavi, this school represented the first organized attempt to institutionalize Jewish education in a modern sense. The Midrash was a bridge between two worlds. The curriculum was a rigorous blend of tradition and discipline. For half of the day, students were immersed in the Torah and the Talmud, preserving the ancient spiritual identity of their ancestors. But the other half was dedicated to Hebrew literature, poetry, and the practical skills needed for the burgeoning trade world. Think of the students sitting in those early classrooms. They were the children of merchants and scholars, learning that their heritage was not just a relic of the past, but a tool for the future. The school began with modest numbers, but it set a standard for excellence. It proved that organized, structured schooling could produce a literate class capable of leading a community. This institution paved the way for the grander architectural and educational marvels that would follow. The Midrash was the spark. It proved that a community could maintain its religious integrity while simultaneously embracing the tools of modernity. This delicate balance between the ancient and the new became the hallmark of Jewish education in Iraq. As we look back at this foundational period, the statistics from the archives reveal a staggering growth. What began as a series of small traditional circles evolved into a network that educated thousands. By the mid-20th century, over 10,000 students were enrolled in these institutions across Iraq, from the mountains of the north to the ports of the south. The numbers tell a fascinating story. In Baghdad, the population reached over 77,000. In Basra, over 10,000. Each city had its own educational heartbeat. These weren't just numbers. These were thousands of students preparing to lead Iraq into a new era of modernity. But the 1832 Midrash was only the beginning. A much larger revolution was looming on the horizon. A revolution that would arrive from the West, carrying the French language and the ideals of the European Enlightenment. This arrival would mark the transition from traditional religious learning to a globalized educational system that connected the Tigris to the Seine. In our next episode, we will travel to the year 1864 to witness the arrival of the Alliance Israélite Universelle and the birth of a new era that would connect Baghdad to Paris. We will see how French became the language of the elite and how these schools opened their doors to a world beyond the two rivers. If you are moved by this journey through the lost archives of Babylon, you can own a piece of this history. The rare book, Jewish Schools in Iraq, which serves as the foundation for this series, is available for purchase now. Each page is a testament to a time of coexistence, progress, and the eternal power of the mind. Join us in the next chapter as we uncover the French Revolution in the heart of Baghdad. Thank you for listening.